All right, folks, welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. How y'all doing tonight, folks? Do let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear, because that is how we want to be heard. How y'all doing, folks? Fraud at GECOM. That's the latest scandal. And that is the latest scandal, fraud at GECOM. And we're following that while it seems as though Win and the PVP are duking it out as on who more corrupt. Interesting times in Guyanese politics. Welcome in the ring to each and every one of you. Interesting times in Guyanese politics. We did tell you, Joy and Lily and all the other folks joining us, Lavorne, Volme, Deborah, Lynette, Angela. Good to see you on the live tonight. Angela, Mandy, and Edward, and Kathy Ann. Volme, we see you too. We did tell you, folks. Folks, the worst is not behind us, it's in front of us. It's in front of us. Yep. Lots of the heads of the missions in Guyana met with GECOM today. There is that voter fraud scandal that GECOM is dealing with. Coming on that tonight, folks. Win launches Manifesto, today, and trading with Jagdi, who more corrupt, who gets sanctioned, who get Lamborghini at the reduced importation tax costs, who had show in the living room, who accused of murder, who accused of gold smuggling. My God. Yeah, it's heating up, folks. It's heating up. We got a month and a week to go. How you gonna do it? We think we can make it through? We got a month and a week to go, folks. We've just been in touch with our people, with a principle-centered leadership that puts you first, that puts them first. That's what we've been about. We don't know who, what's up, who sanctioned for gold smuggling, who reportedly, allegedly killed who, who had sue in the living room, who handled things on the government side, who on the private sector side. We've just been talking with the Guyanese people and putting their concerns first. That's what's been occupying us. That has been what has been detaining us on this side, folks. And that is why we're encouraging you. APNU, coalition all the way. Look for the palm on the ballot paper. Please and thank you. We could do without the drama. Please and thank you. We could do without it. But folks, first up, what's happening? What's happening at GECOM? The chair says stop. What's happening at GECOM? Good evening, folks. Place and power. The people decide in 2025 what's going on at GECOM. The worst is not behind, it's in front. The worst is in front of us. What's happening at GECOM? Somebody has an ID card. They went and query the photo on the ID card wrong, the address associated with the ID card wrong, but it got a name. My God. It got a name. And today, folks, GECOM issued a press statement on this matter. GECOM issued a press statement on this matter. Now, some parts of this press statement, I got some very, 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 very serious trouble with. I got some very, very, very serious trouble with it. Can I say that? I want to read a section for you about this fraud. It's fraud. Somebody at GECOM, JD system, it is fraud. There's no other way to look at it. You know what perplexes me, good folks, is that we've been talking to GECOM about this matter over and over again. And they keep saying, just like today, everything all right. This is not an isolated incident. We know that there are thousands of persons who are in that database. Fraud. This is how they intend to do it. Fraud. That's some of what we heard. The person went out there to GECOM. When they got to GECOM, they realized they got two different sets of ID. I think the name was the only thing that was correct. Everything else was inaccurate. Every single thing else pertaining to this ID card, as far as we know. And it would seem that though GECOM just wants to brush this off. I mean, we've told you guys about this before. We even saw the opposition-appointed Commissioner Vincent Alexander weighing in on this. This is madness. It's madness. And Forward Guyana Movement, they were the folks who first spotted this. Guys, let me know if you're hearing me loud and clear. Kind of just jump into it. And let me know if you're hearing me loud and clear. Forward Guyana Movement, I want to give them the credit because they were the ones who uncovered this. Siobhan Fraser, Mandy said madness top to bottom. You know the whole thing. Thank you, Mandy. Mandy says loud and clear. They were the ones who picked this up, spotted this in the system, this fake national ID card profile. Right? They said the database listed the person's name alongside a non-existent address. And most disturbingly, the photograph of an entirely different person. I think Alexander said, this is not just a one-off, or rather, this is but one scenario on how fraudulent voting occurs. In the private sector, tell me this thing airtight, get me frank. They were comfortable and confident. Come again, private sector. Come again, private sector. Come again. This is how them boys do the thing to get the effect that they want. Forward Guyana Movement labeled the incident as a case of attempted electoral theft. GECOM tried to downplay it, but I did tell you, part of what GECOM said today concerned me. I think credible sources did put out a statement on it today. Concerned me. And I'll tell you why. GECOM in his press statement. Iban and Jason said it's vote padding. Shandy and Princess Yolan, Yonet Elias and Mandy. This is how they're doing it, you know. Theft of democracy right in front of our eyes. But listen what GECOM said in his press statement. You all listening? An in-person discussion was held with the concerned registration official, the person who did this registration, that resulted in a fake, fraudulent ID card. Listen to this. Remember, Winga Lowenfield, Winga Mingo Bingo, Winga Myers, it's just them. Handpicked. Anil and Vishnu and Claudette, it's just them. An in-person discussion was held with the concerned registration official, is a GECOM person, as a result of which it was determined that, listen to this, they should lead the press statement with this, as a result of which it was determined that there was a breach of the standard operating procedure by registration staff, watch me now, by registration staff throughout the system. there was a breach of standard operating procedure by registration staff throughout the system. Y'all sharing the life, or we just say plain? Well, should I be doing something else? Should I be doing something else? This is GECOM, you know. Throughout. Like how the Caribbean Court of Justice had said Anil Nandilal had brought the entire administration of justice into disrepute of the court. GECOM said the thing was widespread. The breach of the SOP, the PVP trolls and bots, juggerbots and trench crappos on the live tonight. The entire system. GECOM's words, I'm not inventing this. There was a breach of the standard operating procedure by registration staff throughout the system. That's not the entire system. Throughout means a part. I know my English in like the Queens, but to God, throughout the system, there was a breach of the SOP. Folks, not for y'all and them when first bell ring, you know. Enough people don't know when first bell ring, you know. I want y'all know first bell ringing. First bell ringing with the Carter Center. The Commonwealth trying to figure out whether they should come or not. Commonwealth, y'all, throughout the system, the standard operating procedure failed. But it didn't stop there. That's first bell. Look, second bell now. The staff who interacted with the person who visited the office to make the applications, the staff, the subject, who interacted with the person who visited the office to make the applications, listen to this part now, could not provide logical explanations for his actions in the matter. The staff could not provide logical. It's not he didn't provide explanations. They didn't say he provided no explanation. But what he said to them, it make no sense. He could not provide logical explanations for his actions in the matter. This is the PVP at work, you know. Folks, this is the PVP at work. Tell me if I lied to y'all. I told y'all eons ago, the rigging done start. Some of you waiting for lampstick, for look for what you're seeing in broad daylight. The thing has already started. They got these set pieces out there. Who they can blame now? You say it was Myers is the problem. You get rid of Myers. This is a big deal. You say it was Lowenfield is the problem. You get rid of Lowenfield. You say it was Mingo Bingo. You get rid of Mingo. You say it was Duarte Hetzberger. And others, you got rid of them. But what is it now? The private sector said this thing airtight. Jerry Berry and all the others. Nothing can happen. Yet here we are. GECOM says the entire system was compromised. It was only a one-off. You know, folks, what you ever cheated on? And somebody tell you, it's only one time. You all know we in the streets. We know what I mean. Whenever somebody says one time, you add 4, you multiply by 6. That's the rule. That's the rule. You add 4, you multiply by 6. In some special cases, you minus 1. That's the rule. Whenever somebody says it's only one time, add 4, you multiply by 6. This is a big deal. I want to thank Forward Movement Guyana. You know, the vigilant. Vigilant for New Guyana with them. The vigilant, they picked this up. We've been telling them ID cards are being sold, given, padding the list. Right? I'm going to show you something just now. As we get further, I'm going to show you something. I'll show you something. But as we begin tonight, with these rascals, fraudulent, rigging PPP, as we get further, as we move further, Forward Guyana Movement held a press today. Well, not a press conference. They gave a statement on the matter. Remember, they're the ones who picked this up. Right? And we believe there are thousands of cases of fake ID cards. Fake ID cards. Listen to some of what the movement had to say earlier today.
Demands independent forensic audit of the voters list ahead of any elections. We in the Forward Guyana Movement would like to first of all acknowledge GECOM's swift reversal of what it now calls a discrepancy in the voters list. However, this is not an isolated incident. This is an issue of credibility and a direct threat to our electoral system. We cannot dismiss this as some innocent slip-up. This is a blatant violation of the law, an egregious breach of public trust, and a glimpse into just how rotten the electoral system has become under GECOM's watch. A fake voter, a forged ID, and it took the vigilance of the Forward Guyana Movement to uncover it, not GECOM's. GECOM continues to boast of its robust systems. In fact, it was only after we blew the whistle that GECOM scrambled to investigate. And what did they find? The processing of illegal transactions. This is not human error. This is a systemic failure and possibly criminal. We're being asked to believe that this was a one-off mistake. But with everything we now know, from missing documentation, ghost electors, to persistent complaints being buried and ignored, how can we ask any right-thinking citizen to have faith in the Guyana Elections Commission? Commissioner Vincent Alexander said plainly that this exposes the corruption within GECOM, and we agree, because if one fake registration slips through the crack, what does this mean? What is lurking beneath the surface? How many more others are there? And how do we know that GECOM's system, which has obviously failed, would have caught those? We demand now more than a band-aid fix. We demand an immediate, independent forensic audit of the entire registration process of staff conduct and the internal controls. Anything less is complicity in fraud. The Forward Guyana Movement has one message. The 2025 elections must not be built on the foundation of fraud and cover-ups. Guyana and Guyanese deserve a commission they can trust, not one caught lying, then expecting to be thanked for fixing their error in the first place. We continue to make the point that democracy is not a performance, and GECOM's performance really is wearing thin.
My God. Fake ID cards that was produced by GECOM. Produced by GECOM. If you're now joining us, share the live. We'll tell you the rest later. Share the live. That's the price of entry. Share the damn live. GECOM says The breach was throughout the system. And then the staff that interacted with the individual who visited the office to make the application didn't have the right explanation, did not provide logical explanations. Well, if illogical, it's illogical. You think you understand? This is not isolated. This is PPP inspired, conspired. This is what's happening. And we telling GECOM a long time, you cannot get valid and credible votes from a system like this. And that is why we called for us out of business. Credit must go. How much time we missed at the protest? At the GECOM. Credit must go. For Guyana to grow, the PPP and Claudette need to pack their bags, and I can hear you in your houses. They gotta go. I'm fed up with the whole pack of them. Are we making sense, Pauline? Deborah, Homi, Avril, Rep GY, Vashti, Michelle? We making sense? If we making sense, get a live share so that other folks can get the valid current information. I see 3,300 of you watching us tonight. That's nice. That's nice time. Sweet Lord. But we want others to understand the regular starting September 1st. You know, when the votes start come, the set piece already there. Father, help we protect your people, Jah. My God. Had not the Lord been on our side? My God. Father, help we. So as I said, the head of the diplomatic missions met with GECOM today. And DPI, Kwame, sure, would have us believe that the diplomats were satisfied with what they were told by GECOM. Everything all right, Lynette. You remember they told us what Chetty said in his dying bed? Everything's going to be all right. He quoted Bob Marley, apparently. Everything going to be all right. Y'all and Janet had now. We've never been the same. From the day Janet threw the writ over her shoulder from the High Court, there's been such a breakdown of law and order, John Ramashindo, in this country, like you would not believe. They're rigging the thing already. The PPP, GECOM, and the co-conspirators, all of them need to be locked up. Lock them up. Lock them up. Throw away the key. Put them in a barrel, sail them out in the Atlantic, let the sharks eat all of them. God damn it. Eat all of them. So the diplomatic missions, the heads met with GECOM today. The people are worried. They're in this capital day in, day out. God knows that they mightn't watch everything. You know, who beating up women on Coffee Square? You see some of y'all complicit, you know. Let's talk to the wind people watching me for a second. Some of y'all complicit. A woman was beaten up on the square, y'all trying to behave. It didn't happen. God damn it. It didn't happen. If you're abusing the PPP, when Damlal and Kwame and them misbehave, you got to hold the people you support to a higher standard as well. And too many of you turning your eye to wrongdoing. You don't have to turn your eye to the PPP wrongdoing. And no, y'all never getting no place yet. And you don't have to turn your eye already. Where we going? It's change or exchange. Who vex? I said it. Y'all come for me. Come for me. I'll be here long after some of you are gone. Politically. Long after. You all are gone. Come for me. But I'll tell you why this is happening. We've cried out for biometrics. Denise a lie. Sean a lie. Eva, Brenda, Michelle, Eva, John a lying. We've called for biometrics as one of the surest methods of safeguarding the franchise. Them boys don't want that. Jack Dio in 2015, big head, with the Corner Shop show every Thursday, called for biometrics in 2015. And he went even further, calling for biometrics. And he had the glorious opportunity. And then suddenly, he ain't want biometrics no more. Listen to the club.
We need enhanced biometrics. Because when some presiding officers said, like we had some cases in Victoria, this is Mr. X, just looking at the photo, and the polling agent from the party sits across the room or is in a hostile area, is afraid to object, they allowed a number of people to vote who should not have voted. But if you have biometrics, enhanced biometrics outside of just a photo ID, it could minimize that happening. We're going to push for electronic voting. Now, you have a system where you can do both. You can vote in the machine, and then it gives you, when you finish voting with the machine with enhanced biometrics, it emits a small paper which shows a ballot, which shows how you have voted, which you can then, like some systems have this method, which you can then put in the ballot box. So you have both systems. You can only access the voting through enhanced biometrics, like an iris scan, but you safeguard against presiding officers or anyone else acting capriciously and giving extra ballots out to people. But it's a dual system. It's both electronic and manual. That is paper trail.
Yes.
So we're going to be pushing for that. We have to ensure a fair system of hiring in GECOM, a fair system of hiring people, and that people who are affiliated with political parties do not work in GECOM, who have been openly partisan.
They had 5 years. None of it was done. None. Zilch. Zero. Nada. None. Not a line, not a word, not a sentence of it was done. That's 2015. Making the case for biometrics. 5 years now. Then do nothing. Because they like the system as it is. The system that produces fake ID cards to keep them in power. They like the system. Those very diplomatic missions, through their observer missions, give several recommendations in 2020 for electoral reform at the GECOM level, at the judicial level, at the parliamentary level. None of it. Not a word, not a dot, not a punctuation. None of it was done. None. Why? Because they like the system. Because the system can produce fake ID cards. You skin up, they get skin up, you know. I want you all to understand that. It's skin up them boys. Get skin up. Just so. Just like that. But I want to show you something else. I want to show you something else. You see. I want to show you something else. Where is the census report? In 2022, taxpayers in this country give this government $2 billion to produce a census to tell us who they're with and how. The preliminary report was promised last December. Can I send to y'all listening to tell y'all this? Commonwealth Observer Mission, EU, have they told you this? 2022, that census was commissioned $2 billion. December was we supposed to have the preliminary report. What are we in now? July. It's not forthcoming. Right? I'm telling you, I'm making the argument that people have already started to rig. Because the census is important. It will tell us who is with us, how many at home, and who is at home, how many Venezuelans, this body, that body, such and so forth. But listen to the story now. You know, they always be telling us, oh, look how this country getting nice, everything up and up, what have you, and this and that. Just in today's Corner Shop show, Big Head Jack Joe was telling us that. He said, look at this thing flourishing. You know what these parties talking about, and a new manifesto and this and that. Now, if everything is so nice, y'all follow me. Follow me. If everything is so nice, how come the government can't produce a mid-year report to tell us how beautifully the economy is doing? To tell us how many jobs people have and how the sectors are performing and all of that, the oil and the non-oil. Why isn't this forthcoming? Your boy was asked about the government's financial mid-year report just today in the Corner Shop show.
I don't know where they are at this point in time with this production, but I anticipate it should be ready. It should be ready. I'm now more clued into the elections. We have about 40 days more to go. And so I'm more clued into that.
I like that flippant, dismissive approach, you see? I don't know where we are economically in this country. I don't know how we're doing. I'm just focused on elections and being who has that? Who's dealing with that? Ashley? Ash? Pasha? Who's dealing with it? I don't know. Oh shit. These guys are running on an economic record to say they've been better stewards of your money. But the economic report, the half-year economic report to prove it. To prove it. He said, I don't know. I don't know where the report is, man. I've been too so clued in. You know, and James and Jermaine and Sandy and Gita. I've been so clued in here. You know. Economy? What economy? I said, I don't, you heard? This man can lie like when Harsh chat, you know. Is he tell them don't prepare the report? He tell them don't you dare prepare no goddamn report until September 2nd. What the hell is wrong with you? You want to go my black book or what? My black bad book? I'm just happy I got to say that. Get it out of my system a little bit. What the hell is wrong with you? my God. Mid-year report? I don't know about no mid-year report. You all say focus on this damn election here. This $1 billion lodge. Another billion in thing there. Rose Hall, Kanji, whatever it is. What the hell you asking me? This will tell you how the government has performed, how the sectors are doing, you know, foreign currency, foreign exchange, jobs, and how happy people are in this country. I don't know, but no mid-year report from no Bank of Guyana finance ministry nonsense. Find this goddamn person just asked me this stupid question. It didn't stop there. It didn't stop there. I still on the fake ID, you know. I ain't come up there yet, believe it or not. I ain't come up the fake ID yet. Right? I ain't come off the fake ID yet. Right? You get asked for another report. He asked for another report. Listen now. Now, if you want to show Your government is performing. These are the things you'd be extolling. I see them guy get 120 feet billboard when you come off the Burbis Bridge. You know, you're looking over to what was that? The Palmyra area where they're building the stadium. You can't even see the stadium now. A billboard 100 feet long blocking out the Palmyra Stadium. That billboard alone was $60 million. 100 feet billboard. They should got these reports. You got your mid-year report right there. You know, you got your this report right there. I just lose when, you know, when I know it's right talking about right now. They're clueless right now. Coming soon. Very shortly. They should have this report there. So, strike one. You don't have the mid-year report, which talks to the finances. No. They just get called out because they have done nothing with poverty. And you all know how people are suffering in this country. Cost of living sky high. You know, bus is shut now, collarbone, you can drink soup out of it. Things tough, tight in this country. You sell up too long, they go with you. The other day passing through some place. I see a little calf get knocked down. Some people knocking down cattle for spite now, you know. If you see people run out with bowl, but 55 people, bowl and chopper and knife, a little calf pulling out, like just born. This is the country living in. Things tight. That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. So the question was asked, sir, bald head, big sahib, what do they call him? Whatever they call him. Right? Now, poverty is pegged at 45%. Have you done the household income survey? Now, these are the things you would show. Poverty has gone down. Where are we on this report? The household income survey.
I think we need to have another survey now because it was a household income and expenditure survey. We need to look at that. And what it would show is that tons of people more are working, earning. Look at the disposable income again. Look at public sector.
I don't know if you catch that. I don't know if you caught it. We haven't done it. The household income and expenditure survey that would show us exactly where we are at the poverty level. But if we had done it, that's what he's saying. If we do it, it would show. A lot of people get jobs and good paying jobs, but we do it. Now, this is the record you should be running on. So y'all undo the mid-year report. Y'all undo the household income and expenditure survey to know how poverty gripping people in this country. Jack Dio, big head bandit, what have you done? And the man's an economist. Styles himself as a doctor. He got an honorary doctorate from some no-name unaccredited university, like Iflat University. He styles himself a doctor. You under the mid-year financial report. Right? Or you're ducking it, like this 2022 census report. You're ducking the household survey, the household income and expenditure survey. What have you done, Jack Dio? Now a land back by the ID card. Now a land back by the ID card. Right? Fraudulent ID cards by the thousands being issued by GECOM. Right? Wouldn't you want to know who getting these ID cards? Or you put a system in place to prevent fake ID cards from getting into the wrong hands. Like the Venezuelans who are with us. Like the Venezuelans who are with us by the thousands. Remember at first, this says 23 Venezuelans in Region 4 alone. Not 23,000, 23. And now they're telling us we could have as high as 100,000 Venezuelans with us. Look, I love my Venezuelan brothers and sisters. You come here, you got your hardship there, and so we can help you out. Fair enough. I love my Spanish girls. I say loud, I love my Spanish girls. Love them. But look, we got to safeguard our interests first. If you're interested in putting Guyanese first in this country, we've been calling for a migration policy for the last 5 years. We've been calling for migration policy. But Jagdu said he's been too busy creating jobs. Jobs that we have not done the household income and expenditure survey to show us how these jobs have been boosting and building the family income. You know, jobs. He's been creating jobs that he has not done the half-year financial report so we could see how all of these jobs are enjoying this beautiful economy. He's been creating jobs, so he hasn't had a chance to do the migration policy that would give Guyanese a fair shake as against this soft invasion by a Venezuelan counterpart. See, we talk today about this migration policy.
So a lot of people were pushing us to do a migration policy in the 5 years. And we said, no. So we're starting off first of all by knowing who is here. We want to know who is here. How many of us Guyanese are here by the issuance of this ID card with biometrics, and how many non-Guyanese are in our country, which we will know very soon when that survey is done. So we'll know how many Venezuelans are here, how many Chinese are here, Indians, wherever you're from. And they would have a separate card. So you can only function in our society with this card, because it would be a requirement for our banks and everything else. Once we know who we're here, and then we assess our demand for labor, we will then be able to agree to a migration policy that allows people to come and work here, treated differently, right? Treated decently, I should say, but have some differentiation between the benefits to Guyanese and those who are coming in. And that is the essence of what we're trying to do. So we're going to draft policy. Policy would have to be debated in Parliament. We're committing to that. We're not going to agree to a migration policy to just bring people in without having a full debate in Parliament on the matter. And we want to make sure that we know who is here first.
He don't want to know who here. He doesn't. It serves their purpose. He doesn't want to know who getting the fake ID cards from GECOM to vote for them. He does not want to know. So he's telling you, you'll have to catch them in the next 5 years. If we get back in, we're going to do the migration policy. So folks, catch this. Hear me out. Hear me out. As we wrap up, hear me out. Hear me out. You going back to the electorate. You do the migration policy. Right? You do the household income and expenditure survey. Right? You then do the, what's the other one? The half-year, mid-year financial report. You produce the 2022 census. What have you done? What have you done? What have you done? We in Dr. Win AI. None of this. None of it. They like the system how it is. They like the system broken. Because that's how they thrive. You know what he spent most of this time in the press conference talking about? Albion. Oh, they say we trucking people. We busing people. We carrying people. We flying people. He said it was an authentic, organic momentum. Folks, 90% of the people, they come from region 6. Let me fair, 80. Right? I'm giving them wide berth. 80% were not from 6. They're flying, rolling, swimming, busing, trucking. That's what he spent his time talking about. Not about how the hardships in this country overpowering families. But none of that. It's them you want back in. They're putting you first. If they were putting you first, they want to know how the policies are impacting you. Right? The migration policy can tell us something. The census can tell us something. Don't paint a picture of where we are. The mid-year report, the finance mid-year report can tell us something. Even the one from the Bank of Guyana. The income and expenditure, household income and expenditure survey could tell us how the policies are affecting people. But they're not really interested in putting you first. Once you shop at Albion, once you shop by Albion, and GECOM for its part, saying that the fact that this error was discovered, this fraud was discovered, is because GECOM allows for scrutiny of the list. What nonsense. All of them should go home. All of them should go home. And the question is being asked also, is U.S. meddling in Guyana's elections? Here last week, the Trump administration said ambassadors are not going to be pronouncing on electoral issues. Wasn't last week? So the question is being asked now, given the pronouncement of Her Excellency Nicole Terrio, the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Guyana, is the Americans fiddling and meddling in our elections? Wrapping up. You all see these things we got to deal with. Young father, young. Just this morning, we were talking about our young people and how life is impacting them. Just this morning, beaten to death. What kind of country we living in? What kind of country we living in? And as we close tonight, Britain launches Manifesto today, right? The manifesto they told us was coming soon and coming shortly. That was today, folks. That was today. Yeah. That was today. Presidential candidate of WIN telling us a little bit about what's in this manifesto.
Through the pages of this manifesto, you will find a very clear and consistent vision of a government that works for the people, created opportunities for every citizen to thrive. You will find a government that is committed to servanthood. In service to the nation, we present transformative plans to reduce the cost of living, increase personal and household earnings, revitalize key sectors, and implement fair tax reforms. We will boost local manufacturing to reduce our dependency on imports and modernize our production capabilities, ensuring that Guyana becomes an economic powerhouse in the region. We intend to invest heavily in our youth, for they are the key drivers of growth and development in this nation. We will invest in their education, creativity, athleticism, and technological advancement. We will provide them with the space needed to express their dreams and aspirations. To invest in our young people is to secure the future of our nation, and we are unwavering in that commitment. National security is a critical part of our agenda. We will spare no resources in asserting our sovereignty of every inch of the 83,000 square miles with which God has entrusted us as Guyanese. We intend to rebuild public trust through comprehensive police reform and the restoration of law and order. In essence, our vision is to create a prosperous, unified, and safer Guyana, where hope is restored, justice is upheld, the human rights of citizens are respected, and every Guyanese has a seat at the table of progress.
Yep, that's what the candidate said today. And finally, he was also asked about how they're going to pay for it. How they're going to pay for all of it. And this is what he said.
2025 budget, and I saw so much of wasteful spending. For example, $23 billion in medication and drugs, right, that are being dumped. $23 billion in expired drugs. $19.5 billion NDIA in drainage, yet flood. So all these money that are being spent goes behind corruption, wasteful spending and corruption. So we have the money and we will invest the money in the right place. We are investing the money in our public servants, our pensioners, persons living with disabilities. We had a budget, $1.1 billion, $1.1 trillion, sorry. And billions of dollars are going behind corruption. 25 to 30% goes behind corruption. So that same money we'll invest in the people.
Yep, clap, clap, clap. That's going to do it for us at this end. That's our time. And that's our program, folks. Yep, clap, clap, clap. Take care. Till we see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining us this evening. Lovely Lillian, Denise, James, and Lone Wolf. Folks, I have no doubt that on September 1, you guys are going to go and put your X next to the APNU Coalition. The palm. That's our time. That's our program. Stay safe, Valerie and Diane and Chanel and Roberta, Glenford and all the other folks. The palm. Take care, folks. That's the time. Stay